Hi guys, this is Wences from Below the Radar Above the System, and now I'm going to talk about dealing with an ESFJ if you're an INFJ. On the one hand, ESFJs are obstinate types, which means that their interests are always of main interest for them. So they really want to say what they like, say what they want to get whatever they want across, and it's very important to them. And if they don't do that, it's kind of a betrayal to themselves. It's like they don't respect themselves enough to work on creating something that is good for them. And it mainly has something to do with that it's everything that's not going their way, something that's pushed on them. It's kind of getting them out of balance. It's getting them out of their comfort zone. And it's just a general thing that they do. What you should do in order to get along with an ESFJ is just be a little bit more forceful. And I don't know if this is a bad word, because I normally think it's like a negative, it has a negative connotation with it. But what I mean is tell them, no, that's not right. Why are you doing this? This is not good. They're not going to get offended through that. ESFJs live like that. If you watch an ESFJ, they directly state their opinions. You can see it in their face. That's what they do. And if people are like them, they see it as something good and not as something negative. So by you always trying to, as I said, also understanding them and trying to like be completely nice to them if you see that they're going to the wrong direction, rather stop them. They need somebody to stop them from going places which are not good for them. They tend to be controlling, and this is something that's also not good for them. So try to like push back. You can be also a little bit controlling in a way that you control your comfort, and also if they ask you for your opinion, or if they think, oh, I'm gonna do this and that, and you know that's not good for them, tell them, like, not like, oh, I don't think you should do this, but like really tell them, no, man, it's not good, don't do that. You'll see how much it's like it does wonders once you like really change your way of communicating with them, and how much better they feel about themselves. Because with ESFJs, their hidden agenda is to be perfect, which has to do with their third function being an NE, which means it's hard for them to see the world through different perspectives. It's difficult for them to imagine a life outside of their own actual worldview. So what they have to do is, in order to compensate for that, is try to be as good as possible, as perfect as possible in their own sphere. And if they are not healthy, they tend to like really make their world smaller, because the smaller it is, the more they can control it. And if you want to have a good relationship with them, or if you want to help them, it's good to push their boundaries a little bit in widening their horizon. Make sure that you give them other options, that you say, look at it this way. You should do this. You should really, really do this. Why don't you do it like that? Try it with ESFJs. It really does wonders. And once they like really, you've pushed them a little bit in that direction, and they do things that they normally wouldn't try to do, because it's, it gets them out of their comfort zone. If you push them a little bit to get out of that comfort zone, and then they get comfortable in that new zone, which is better for them, you'll see how they themselves just like kind of lighten up, because they don't need to control that much. Now, by you pushing them a little bit into a direction that is good for them, they get into that new world, which is better for them mentally. They don't have the urge to control everything so much, because it's like a better sphere for them, and then they lighten up. You have to also be aware that ESFJs will never really get you on your NI level, which is because that's like the most vulnerable function. NE is difficult for them, but NI is Yeah, and I is not, it's not theirs. They're not really gonna get you on that level. So don't get offended by it. It is what it is. Just make, if you want to really connect with them, you do it on an FE level that you're like really try to be nice to them, try to create a good atmosphere for them, and don't don't expect them to understand you so deeply. Just make sure that you put out what is important to you, what you need in order to feel comfortable, so they can adapt to that. That is much easier than trying to like kind of transmit or try to explain through whatever it is your NI state, which they just not gonna get it. How we are not gonna get stuff that's going on, like TE stuff, we're not gonna get. They're not gonna get NI stuff. So yeah, just show them results, show them how you want to be treated, what you're not gonna be willing to sacrifice. And if you have like a colleague which is an ESFJ and they're controlling, I really, first of all, make sure if they're really an ESFJ or an ESTJ, because I think these kind of could get messed up somehow. But if it's really an ESFJ, or actually it's with both. If you have if you're dealing with an ESJ, make sure that you tell them right on the spot, no, man, I don't like this. This is not good for me. Make it fierce and make it a point, and they will respect you for it. They will get along better with that. It's much easier for them to deal with stuff with people acting that way than just like on a subconscious level trying to transmit a state that you need peace and happiness. They're not gonna get it. And the worst part is actually that by you being completely yielding, which means like you're kind of like taking in all their emotions and you try to like help them balance them out, their state transmits a lot into you. So if they're not healthy, it has a negative effect on you, and it's kind of like a vicious circle, because then you have like an enabling effect on them to keep on going with their negative behaviors. So make sure that you really state like right away if you think they're doing something that is not good for them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course, they can be very compulsive, especially when it gets to physical comfort. It's hard to get an ESFJ to go like on a backpacking trip with a lot of hiking. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are ESFJs that you know have done this, but they're very compulsive when it comes to physical comfort. And make sure if you don't want to be like this, if you feel like they're getting into your realm and they're getting into your sphere, block them out. And ESFJs are if they're healthy, they want to have like a positive emotional atmosphere, and they want to control that situation in that way that, as I said, they want to be perfect. They want to create the best thing possible in their world. So you can either help them by showing them new options and helping them to like widen their world, not be so small, but just like widen it, and that will loosen up their control. The more you control the environment around you, the less they will have the urge to control it. Okay. So, yeah, this is it. Talk to you soon.